Hi, and thank you for listening. This is Sherry Andrea, and I appreciate you. Um, if you're looking for me, you can find me at sherryspeaks.com. There you can find 80 plus attunements. There is a certificate creator, a Reiki certificate creator. So if you either need to make a certificate for yourself or for your students, um, it's the beautiful certificates that I used to custom make. Now it's automated, so you don't have to wait, and it's only $1.75 each. So it's I tried to keep it affordable. Also, you can find services such as the deep energy clearing, which is only $15. Great price, right? Don't let that fool you, though. It is a strong, powerful energy clearing. And also, of course, readings and coachings. So feel free to go there if you're, and of course, click on blog. I have the blog. It's not like your typical blog that's organized in descending order by date where you have to scroll through, page. No, I've got it set up so that it is categorized in alphabetical order by category, and then in alphabetical order by the article that I wrote under it. So if you are interested in learning about empathy, go there, scroll down to empathy, and then all of the articles related to empathy are all right there. So I tried to lay it out in a way, and I just finished working on it today. So I have, for those of you who are used to going to my website and reading, I've changed it. I've made it easier for you to, like find things and read about various things. So go back there and check it out. Okay, so let's get down to it. Oh, don't forget, subscribe, please. Like this video, please. And share if you would like to. Um, I'm also on Instagram, and I'll put the links in the description. I'm trying to learn how to, I know the basics about Instagram, but what I'm planning to do with it is not only post things, but also short little videos. So you can follow me on Instagram. So that'll be a nice way to get um, similar to what I do here, but something that's like shorter, simpler, to the point, little tidbits. So, okay, let's get to it. Okay, so this video is about a technique to increase your sensitivity to energy. Okay, so for those of you who are empaths, you're probably thinking right now, you're like, I don't want to become more sensitive. Okay, now let's keep in mind empathy is related to being able to feel another person as though it's your own self, but it's mainly related to picking up on their emotions. What I'm talking about is increasing sensitivity to energy, where, for example, okay, I'll use an example that most of you that listen to me can understand. You got an attunement from someone, and you know the attunement worked, but you really didn't feel much of anything. Or it's the first time getting an attunement, and you're like, well, I didn't feel anything. And then for some of you get attunements, and you not only felt a lot of that energy, but you also you had visions. There were things you saw in your mind's eye. You're like, wow, I saw this, I saw that. And then when I went to sleep, I had this dream that was like trying to tell me things. And so we're talking about that type of sensitivity. I'll give you more examples. When spirit is around, you may slightly pick up that energy, but maybe you want to be a little bit more sensitive to not just that, but also when there's the human influence. Let's say someone is out of body and they're in your home, they're visiting you, to be more sensitive to even picking up on that. Or to, I'm going to use one that you're not going to expect me to use. That's going to kind of make you probably giggle a little bit, or going to pique your curiosity. Your sensitivity And if you hear yelling in the background, that's my son playing PlayStation. Please just ignore it. I'm trying to. Um, um, let's say you go to a convenience store, 7-Eleven or something, and that you buy scratch off lottery tickets. Well, wouldn't it be nice to literally be able to stand in front of that counter? And you know how they have them under the glass and they're numbered. Let's say you look at the number one ticket and you stare at it, and in your mind you ask the question, is that one going to be a winner, or is that one a winner? With the intention in your mind that you understand that the ticket at the end is going to be pulled off. So the question isn't, is there a winner in that roll, but is the one that's getting ready to be torn off next, is that a winner? Wouldn't it be great if you were sensitive enough to feeling energy that either you could feel that sway back and forth or forward and back to let you know, or to have it so that you're like, you could set it up, you could tell your higher self, okay, if it's a winner, I want to feel that energy tingling in my right hand. Wouldn't that be awesome? Or I'll give you an even better example. I mean, I know you're thinking, what can be better than being able to pick a scratch off lottery ticket? And I'm going to just say this. I'm not going to explain, but I'm just going to say this. I can do this over the phone with a friend of mine. He sometimes calls me and he tells me which ones he's thinking of buying. I think I've been right more than I've been wrong. There have been times where I've been like, ugh, I just feel like I can't get it, and but I think I've been, for him, right more than wrong. So there have been times where he's told me what number, and then I've been able to tell him basically by picking up on the energy, because it's going through him. Basically, it's like, yeah, I'm a conduit for energy, but I'm using him as the conduit because he's standing right there in front of the tickets and he's looking at them. And he's like, okay, let me read off some numbers and see if you pick up anything. And he will read off the numbers for the tickets that he's considering buying. The number 7, the number 9, the number 3. You know what I mean? So, and I've been probably right more than I've been wrong. And there have been times, I mean, he's won not small amounts either. Usually it's like $25, $50, $100. I remember the time, I picked it for him using my abilities, and he won $100. Now, this is easier for me to do for other people than for myself, because you're probably like, well, if you could do that, why aren't you out buying scratch-offs right now? It's one of those things. Do you guys, have you ever watched the show Charmed? And remember how in the show Charmed, they were witches, but they couldn't use their powers for their own gain. And if they did, there were repercussions. Well, this does not work very well when I try to use it for my own self. Yeah, a lot of times I'll win, but it'll be like, I spent $1, I won $1. I spent $2, I won $2. I only break even. Yes, I win, but I only break even. It's just one of those things that I can often pick it for other people. I can even tell somebody like behind the counter that's working there, I'm not going to buy it, but I'll go, I just want that. If you're into buying scratch offs, that number, whatever, or this $5 one right here, it's a winner. And people have taken my advice and bought them and been like, yeah, anytime you want to come back in and tell me which one to buy. But yeah, I can't do it for my own self. It's just crazy. But okay, so I'll use another example. Now I'll move on. Let's use another example. And this is one that would be helpful to everyone. When we go in the grocery store, at all the foods and all the products that are there are so many that are low vibration. Especially when we're talking about buying like meats, like chicken, beef, fish, seafood. there are so many there that are low vibration, but you can also use your abilities to pick foods. Um, Using the sway method, I know for me is easiest, but that's only because I'm so used to it. But maybe for you it would be something different. Like you could use feeling the energy in your hand, like as you like move your hand over a product. Um, if you feel energy suddenly in your hand, like a tingling. Now, of course, before you can do this, you don't just go to the grocery store and put your hand over something and just expect it to work. Okay, let me explain that. You don't have a magic wand. This is not a magic wand. So, this is something that requires practice. Now, this is something you could practice at home. You can practice with items in your own home. Like just, um, I used to practice with um, playing cards. Like literally, I'd shuffle the deck and I would try to read the energy off the card. Like I could set it up and I could tell my higher self, okay, I want to be able to read aces in the deck. And if it's an ace, I want you to let me feel the energy in my right hand. That ting, you know what I mean? Send energy to my right hand if it's an ace. And so there are ways where you can practice this before you actually begin actually using it in real life to help yourself. I don't want you to think that it's as easy as just right now go to the grocery store and expect this to work for yourself. Yeah, it'll probably work somewhat, but to really get good at it and to get to the point where you can trust in it and rely on it, yeah, you should practice. Um, I mean, that's basically when I do the scratch off tickets, I'm only buying $1 or $2, but really it's not for the purpose of me winning and trying to get rich. It's really for the practice of me practicing, for the purpose of me practicing. That was just one of the ways I could practice. The other way I could practice using my energy and how sensitive my energy is that when I go to the store and I buy something and they give me my change, let's say I give them a 10 and they give me a 5, couple ones, some loose change. Well, I put it in my wallet where it's separated from my other money. And when I get home, I pull those bills out of my wallet and I can read the energy off of them because keep in mind, somebody else has held them, handled them. You can practice this way. Practice reading that energy. This isn't anything evil. Everything is energy. We are actually always at all times reading energy. We're just not doing it in a conscious and purposeful way. So don't let anybody tell you that it's evil or anything. It's not. And if they're going to tell you it's evil, then I guess they shouldn't exist because they are also energy and they're constantly interacting with people and people are reading them. Okay, and I'll give you an example of that. I love giving examples if you haven't noticed. I'll give you an example of that. My best friend, one of my best friends, because I do have a couple, one of my best friends, when we first met, and this was going way back, I want to say this was probably before 1997, somewhere around there. She hated me. There was just something about me she hated. This is back during when pagers were popular, before cell phones came out and became popular. I worked at a pager company. First, I worked at one of their little stores out in a mall, and then after that, after the store I was working at closed down because it wasn't doing well, I actually moved inside and was a salesperson, and I did pager sales. I actually loved it. It was actually great to get out and interact with people, interact with clients. Um, Clients, these were like pretty much like corporate clients, like schools, firehouses, police departments, clients that had an account with a large number of pagers on them. And it was nice getting out and interacting with people. I loved it. So if you ever get a chance to do anything like that, a lot of people say, oh, but I'm not good at sales. You know what? you don't really have to be good at sales. What you have to be good at is just liking people. If you like people and you just like socializing, communicating with people, you're a people person, you can do sales. Okay, but anyway, I got off track. So anyway, when I came into, even before I came into the office working in sales, I at the store used to have to call her when I to get a pager turned on when somebody would buy one. And that was her department. She was in, I don't even remember what it's called. I think it was called operations or something. So she was the person that turned on, programmed, fixed. I mean, she did a little bit of everything. She was amazing. Um, and she's still amazing. But she did that. You know, if somebody had a problem with their pager and it was the programming was messed up, she was the one that fixed it. So I would have to call her several times a day when I would want a pager turned on. And she would tell other people that worked in the company as she was talking to them, do you know that new girl, that's out, at the store in Ocoee? Do you like her? And she would tell them, she would be like, I don't, you like her? I don't like her. There's just something about her. She just really rubs me the wrong way. She could not stand me when she first met me. She hated me. And isn't it interesting? There was obviously something she was picking up off of me. There was something. But sometimes it is similarity or something that you have in common that you both relate to that you're picking up. And it kind of rubs you the wrong way. Why? Because a lot of people get rubbed the wrong way when they're like looking in a mirror. Because there is something that reminds them of not only the good parts of themselves, but also the bad parts of themselves. So there's that balance. And sure enough, we did end up becoming best friends, and we did have a lot in common. Everything. Our likes, our dislikes, our attitudes, our emotion, everything. We had everything in common. We could have been sisters. We had so much in common. So when we meet people, we're picking up off of them. How many times have you said to somebody, I don't know about them. I just get a bad feeling about them. I don't know what it is, but I just get a bad feeling about them. When you meet someone, it may be, a friend of yours, and they introduce you to someone, and you're like, I know they're your friend and everything, but there's just something I'm picking up from them that I just do not like. And sometimes you just can't even put your finger on it. You can't even say what it is. But you're picking up something. Okay, everybody's got that going on. Police officers, firefighters, they're always using their intuition. So if somebody is going to tell you that what I'm explaining to you that you can develop and get better at, if they're going to tell you that this is evil, well, then they must believe that what police officers and firefighters do is evil too, because they are constantly using their intuition. Police officers, I highly believe it's how most often they stay alive, is they're using their intuition. And firefighters, they're constantly using their intuition as well. Health professionals, they're also a lot of times using their intuition. They wouldn't want you to think they are, because they would want you to think that they're playing it by the book from what they learned in school. But really, a lot of times they're using their intuition. Their intuition is kind of guiding them. Sometimes when they're trying to diagnose them, where do you think those ideas come from when they come up with the idea of what to test you for? Not just because of your symptoms, but they're actually being guided in the right direction. So don't let anyone tell you that this is evil. No, it's not. So I would say increase your sensitivity, like I said, for you empaths out there. This is not related to empathy. This has nothing to do with emotion. This has to do with physically feeling energy. If you're a healer or you're learning to heal, you're into Reiki, this is something that you can develop that really can help you. Because wouldn't it be nice? Because I know this from experience. I'm not just telling you this off the top of my head. I'm not making this up. I actually have had clients that can do this and do it very well. Wouldn't it be nice if, as you're giving somebody a Reiki treatment, that you actually within your own self feel their needs, like feel overages and deficits. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it quickly. An overage or a deficit could be as simple as a vitamin deficiency, um, or an overage could be too much of something. It could be they're eating too much of something. It could be they have too much of something going on. We're talking about, balance. Um, you can, I've known people who can feel, and they can't sometimes explain it, but sometimes they can feel certain illnesses and they come across certain kinds of way and they'll tell me, yeah, when it's this type of illness, I feel this, I feel like that, I feel, okay, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about developing a sensitivity to feeling energy. And yes, I'll put it out there. Yes, this does include also being able to feel um, spirit, feeling angels and ascended masters when you call on them and around them, actually being able to feel them. There is nothing better than feeling the hug from an angel or ascended master. Now, some of you will know what I'm talking about when you feel them like come close and literally give you like this supporting hug. That energy that you feel, oh my goodness, you could get addicted to it. This is better than, well, I don't know from experience, but I would say it's gotta be better than drugs. It is so awesome. Well, many of you are getting that kind of support, but you may not be feeling it because your sensitivity to feeling energy isn't high enough. Okay, I'm going to give you one last way that you can increase your sensitivity. And remember, come up with your own ideas too. Please think outside the box. You know what I mean? This isn't limited to just the ideas I'm giving you. Come up with your own as well. Okay. One of the ways to increase the sensitivity in your hands is, okay, I'm gonna tell them one at a time because if I mix them up, it's gonna get confusing. Okay, one of the ways, and this has to do with reading by touch and increasing your sensitivity so you can do that better. Get a bowl of water. It could be, I would make it room temperature water, like, not so that it's too cold or too hot, but I would let it be room temperature. And what you're going to do is sit down somewhere comfortable, but it could be at the sofa, it could be at your desk. I don't know. I'm not really sure. You'll have to practice. Some people might find sitting at a sofa and sitting the bowl of water on the coffee table to be kind of in better reach. So let's say you're gonna sit on the sofa. You're gonna sit the bowl of water on the coffee table. Now you're not gonna be moving too quickly, and you don't want to move too quickly because you don't want to spill the bowl of water and make a mess. Okay, what you're gonna do, you definitely kind of need it to be kind of in front of you where you're like you have a good idea of where it is, and before you close your eyes, you kind of want to put your hand over the bowl with your fingertips down, and then you're going to close your eyes. Now you lower your hand slowly. What you're trying to do is the moment you touch water, you are trying to sense it. I know this seems ridiculous to you because you're like thinking, okay, well, obviously I'd fill the water. But notice what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you to first, you like place your hand over the water, but I'm telling you, you have to close your eyes when you do this. What am I doing? Sense deprivation. You know how a blind person, their other senses are usually strong because of that one sense that is missing? Okay, this is why we do it with our eyes closed. Now, you can do this with other things as well. It's not just water. You could do this with a lemon because a lemon has, the little bumps, that coarseness. So you could do it with a lemon and lower your hand to it. And the minute you touch it, I know I'm not explaining this probably very well. It's increasing your sensitivity to touch. Believe me, when you do it, you will understand how and why this works. You'll be amazed. I know when I did it for the very first time, I was kind of surprised because at first I was kind of like, yeah, obviously I'm going to fill the water. But actually I was quite surprised that I was just like having to really concentrate to really pick up when I felt the water, because with my eyes closed and not able to see what I was doing, yeah, it made a huge difference. A huge difference. Um, so, you could do this with other things. I guess you could do it with sand, a bowl and you put sand in it. I guess you could do it with sand. Even if this isn't a matter of lowering your hand and picking up when you first touch the sand, it can even be just having your eyes closed and kind of playing in the sand with your hand. Because what you're trying to do is you are trying to experience feeling without sight, to increase that ability, the ability of feeling. Now, there are so many other ways. I guess you could get a feather, close your eyes, and then like rub it on your skin in a way, rub it across like your arm or whatever, in a way where it's kind of like, when you do it, you'll understand. It's kind of like you don't see it coming. So, everything about experiencing is not being done with your eyes. It's being done only with feeling. So it does work very well to increase your level of sensitivity, even to energy. So you may be able to come up with other ideas, or you may, after listening to this, think, oh, this reminds me of something I do. Feel free to comment and share it with everyone if there's something that you do that has worked for you. Feel free to come back and share, like after you try this, like what the experience was for you, because that helps when people explain and describe the experience. It really does help others. So please feel free to do that. As always, keep the comments positive and not negative. We can say anything we want to in a kind way versus a mean negative way. So keep them positive. I really appreciate you giving me your time. And I hope you're having a great day and a great year so far. I appreciate you. Namaste.